Hello, welcome back to another edition of the Fondop podcast. We'd like to be joined by Mike Fondop, Chesterfield forward, formerly played for Wrexham, Guiseley and Halifax, all in the conference. So, Mike, how you doing?
I'm very good, mate. Yeah, very good. Thank God. Not an easy period to be in, but yeah, I am. I'm thankful for the health. So fine. Yeah.
How have you been coping with in lockdown? How have you been doing to pass the time?
Yeah, I've been most of the time trying to do something productive, like reading. Obviously, I need to stay fit, so I've been doing a couple of runs, reading, and in the evening, I spend most of the time speaking with family. So
Mm.
yeah, trying to make this time productive because I believe we've got more time to work on things we couldn't when everyone used to be very busy.
Mm. And I believe you started your football career with Stanway Rovers whilst you were still at uni. How did you get into football?
Well, oh, that's a long story. Football, that was since my early childhood. My dad in Cameroon used to take me to play with his pals. So, because my country is Cameroon, so when I was so young in primary school, I used to go, watch him play, and his friends will come with the kids. So I'll be playing on the side with the friends' kids, and my dad will be playing with with his other friends, and then the more I grew up, people saw that I was talented. So since primary school, I've been doing football and education. Eventually, getting to secondary school, I've always been doing both of them together. So sometimes I'll be running away from school to go and play, but not every time, no. But only when it was very important. But then I'll come and catch back my lessons later on. But yeah, I've always been doing both together. And then eventually, I had my A levels in 2011, and I found the opportunity to finally play football because that's the certificate I needed to have that freedom. That's what my dad told me. So coming here into the UK, um, being at uni and playing, and also at the time I was working for Pret a Manger in London, so I had to do three things together. And yeah, I mean, I started with uni level. I found that it was a bit low for me, because I was used to playing higher. So I managed to get involved with that manager. He was coaching Stanley Rovers and coaching the university's first team. Angelo Harrop is his name, and he's the one that spotted me, and he was like, "I think you're too good for uni. Why don't you come over to my team and see that?" So I managed to, I signed for I went there and played for Stanley Rovers. He was very good with me, very good. That's when my knowledge of English football really started.
And obviously, after leaving uni and leaving Stanway, you moved up to Billericay, who were in the seventh tier at the time. Was it exciting to make that step up again in English football?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. My contract with Stanway there was an option in it because at the time I think I was under 23. So Angelo Harrop, that was the manager of Stanway, could have stopped me from going. So I remember this summer, I don't know if it was 2014 or 2015, I think 2015, summer of 2015. Um, I told him, listen, I'm really grateful for what happened, for the opportunity you gave me, but I believe I can play higher. I've got everything to play higher. And he told me he doesn't think I was ready. But then we shook our hands. We made a bet. He told me, listen, this is the summer. If you manage to go get a team higher, I'll let you go. But if you don't, yeah, you just come back here. And I shook his hand. I told him, I love it. Trust me, you're not gonna see me here. So yeah, I went on to do trials to make. I went on to a couple of trials here in a couple of teams. I did trials at Whitehawk. I think Chelmsford. I can't remember. But then yeah, Billericay was the one that was successful, and I hadn't yet signed when the manager was interested because we had a trial game, so he was interested in me. So I played my first league games with them. I scored 8 goals in 6 games. That's when he was like, "Nah, I'm not letting you go. I need to sign you." So yeah, I went back to Angelo to tell him I managed to find a team. He was very buzzing. He was happy for me. So for me, it was a great move to move for Stanway and to jump, what was it, 2 or 3 levels to get to Billericay. That was, for me, it was already semi-pro football.
Hmm.
It was a good opportunity to come and, to be seen by the world.
Mm. And you mentioned you went up 2 or 3 levels. Did you find it difficult to adjust to going up a few levels, or did you find it easy?
um, as I said, I was used to, because back home, I was used to playing, I'll say the equivalent of professional football, because I was in an academy. After having my A levels, I spent 2 years in the academy, and they were first division team from back home that wanted to sign me. But then I didn't want to sign there because I wanted to come to the UK, where I believe there were more opportunity. So in terms of the competitiveness, no, I didn't find it really difficult because I was used to, even at the time when I was at Billericay, I was used to playing higher, training harder. We were only training twice per week, but I was used to training four times in a period of in a period of 5 days and playing games in the weekend. But now I came back to playing Tuesdays and Thursdays. So for me, I still needed more. So no, I didn't find it hard to adapt. It was just the difference in obviously the level of Stanway, and the level of Billericay that was in the Ryman. It was a bit more. It was a bit more tactical, more technique, and more physicality compared to the level of Stanway. And it wasn't hard for me. It wasn't difficult. No, I established myself quite well, I'll say.
You then left Billericay and signed for Margate, who were at the same level at the time, I think. What did you learn from your move to Margate?
That was quite a strange one. I don't know if you read about what happened. That was quite a strange move because yeah, Billericay, Margate were interested to sign me. They came assigned, but then Billericay, because I think there was an option in my contract and I was still under 23. Billericay activated the option. So they acquired me for free from Stanway, but they said they wanted money for me. And my agent and I spoke to them like, come on, man, you didn't pay anything to get me. What do you mean you want money? Okay, we're gonna sort this out this way. Like, what do you mean? Like, okay, how much money do you want? They said they wanted 15 grand for me. Like, I was like, come on, man, like you got me for free. What do you mean you want 15 grand? Like, bro, anyway, long story short, I was like, nah, that's just too much. I don't think any team will pay for that. So Margate, when they signed me, they knew I was free agent and I was a free agent. But then Billericay later on activated the option and said the only option for me to leave, was for them to pay the money. They said they can't pay. So we'll go into that argument. We almost got to court, and I spoke to the one that was going to be the Margate manager at the time, and he was like, yeah, he saw it, but the club can't pay that money. So now I had to ask Billericay to drop it down first, to completely, don't ask for any money or to get that amount down. But they said no. But then at the start we started negotiation and they started getting the amount down, down, down. But it got to a point where Margate were already fed up of it because they said they're not paying anything. Billericay then went to say, okay, we're gonna, okay, just was he 1,500 or 1,000 pound, I think, something like that. So it wasn't too much, but Margate said no. So I cancelled my contract with Margate, but eventually Oxford City came. My agent told them what was going on. So Oxford came, and because I wanted to play, I said to Oxford, listen, I'm gonna pay for my transfer. So you're not gonna pay for anything. So I signed for Oxford and I paid for my transfer. I think it was £1,000 a year. I told them just deduct it from my wage. When it gets to £1,000, you let me know, and then yeah, that'll be it. So yeah, I paid for my transfer to move from Billericay to Oxford City because I wanted to play, and I wasn't gonna let that. I wasn't gonna give that as an excuse because for me, like £1,000, yeah, it's something, but compared to what I knew I was gonna get, like the level I wanted to get, that was nothing. I wasn't gonna stop them from taking me to where I wanted to go. So that's how things went on.
What did you make of the season with Oxford City in the National League South at the time? Was you moved up another level then after leaving Billericay and Margate?
Yeah, I think I scored 7 goals for Oxford City. It was a good. I mean, again, it was a step. I think it was one step again in terms of the pyramid, one step above compared to where I was in the previous year at Billericay. So for me, it was interesting because now I left the Ryman to play in the Conference South, and I wanted to get into the league ASAP. So playing for Oxford for me was a good test to see, how, like understand to keep understanding the English football. So I did quite well at Oxford City. I did well. I scored 7 goals. I had some periods of ups and downs as every footballer, but I managed to do well, and the manager loved me. The manager over there loved me, and yeah, it was a good one, I would say. No, obviously not the return I was expecting at the end of the season, but yeah, it was good.
Mm. And then you moved up to Guiseley, who I believe were in the National League at the time. But they had a tough year being in the relegation zone. Was that difficult?
Yeah. So after Oxford, as you said, Guiseley they needed a striker. They came for me. I went on trial and I managed to sign for Guiseley under Paul Cox. First couple of games, as I was scoring goals. I had a good experience there because finally I was getting to national league. That was one league below the the English football league. So for me, it was no matter what position of the table the team was, I wanted to play because I believe someone's going to see me. I wanted to take me. Um, yeah, we started well. Obviously, when I signed, they were in a difficult position, but I was among those that believed that we could still turn the season around. But I had a good. I don't know if you saw that I had a good spell in the FA Cup when we played against Accrington Stanley. We managed to take them out, and we reached. I think was it the first round proper with Guiseley. It was the first time they reached that level in their history. So it was a good experience. But then months went by, and the manager that signed me, Paul Cox, got sacked. So the interim manager did not really fancy me. It was a bit difficult period, but I kept working hard because I believe, as I've always been advised, play every game as if it was your last one. That's how I play my games. So I knew maybe from all of those games, there's maybe one game that the manager saw me and could probably want to snap me. Um, so we were in a bad situation. I kept my faith in God because I need to precise that he's never let me down. I didn't want to have a relegation in my CV. Well, obviously it's a difficult time for everyone. No one wants it, but you know, I always believe that nah, that this shouldn't happen. So I kept working hard. I kept praying. Before I knew, Halifax in the same league, but in a better position, started inquiring because they had a new manager in Jamie Fullerton. So he saw me not playing in Guiseley and he couldn't understand why. So he ran my agent straight away and he spoke to me. That's when I always say to people that that's only God's work because you cannot explain that you are in a team that's bottom or second bottom of the table and a team that's better right position wise, even if they trouble, but they come and take a striker from that team to come and help them. Like, how would you explain it? For me, it was only God. So I spoke to him. I asked him how he wanted to play with me, how he wanted to use me, and we agreed. Like for me, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. So God took me out of that team and put me into Halifax. So I didn't finish the season with Guiseley. I finished the season with Halifax. I scored 5 goals in 12 games, and I was becoming one of the fans' favorite. They started loving me, and I was loving the atmosphere as well because it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, I actually finished that season with Halifax, and it was a very good experience. But I learned a lot from I would say, bad experience at Guiseley. I learned a lot from it. I learned how to be stronger in these positions when you find yourself in those circumstances. I learned how to always keep your faith, no matter what happens. Go out there, play every game as if it was the last one, because there was always going to be one manager or one person that will see you, even if you're in a bad team. But then because he knows your talent, he'll probably need it in his team. So yeah, never give up. Because if I gave up, I probably would have stayed, and I don't know what my future would have been. I kept working hard.
And after a good loan spell at Halifax, as you said, you signed for Wrexham, who are, despite being in non-league for a long time, are probably one of the biggest clubs in the conference. We've got a great ground. How exciting was it to sign for Wrexham?
Yeah, I was buzzing. I remember when I was after finishing the season with Halifax, because I had a good end of the season, because I scored 5 goals in, as I said, in 12 games. And my agent, he told me that there were a couple of league clubs that were watching me at the time. I'm not going to name them, but yeah, there were a couple of league clubs. And I went home on holiday, and he was speaking to me. Now it was me at that time moving to the league. Honestly, I didn't expect playing in the National League at the time. At that time I was moving in the league. So he told me we need to make a decision now. The decision was, you had to take everything into account: the money, the way the manager wanted to use you, and so on. And then he came with Wrexham, because the others in the league, it was just like we needed to wait, we needed to be patient, because it was still the transfer had just opened, so there was still time. And then Wrexham, he got in contact with Wrexham with Sam, yeah, from Wrexham. And he spoke to him, and it was an interesting conversation. And then the manager spoke to me as well, and I saw that the deal they were offering in terms of the conditions, the bonuses, and the way he wanted to use me, was good. I made some research about Wrexham, and I saw that it was indeed a very big club. Like, obviously, it was a massive club, and it was the biggest club I had ever played at that time. It was the biggest. They wanted to get back in the league, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to go into a team that was ambitious, a team that wanted to win, and Wrexham was matching that criteria. So I thought honestly, like, yeah, should I go to the league? Should I wait and go to the league, or should I go sign for Wrexham and then help them bring them to the league? So I managed to, yeah, after speaking with the manager, to agree on terms, and I was buzzing. I was really happy, especially when I went there. I saw the setting. I saw the ground. I saw the infrastructures. Yeah, from day one, the way we're training and the way the manager was talking to us, you knew that, these are ambitious people. It was a great move for me indeed, yeah.
And that start to that season, you started really well under Sam Ricketts. Why do you think you started so well?
Oh, I wouldn't know how to answer that. I'll only put it to God. I'll just leave it to God, because there are some things that you do. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know how you manage to do it, but you still manage to do it. So it's not my strength. That's only God that made me do them things like that. I remember coming back from holidays, playing my first preseason game with them. I scored goals. So in the preseason, I scored what was it, five goals in 6 games. So before the season started, I remember fans all over the place. They were buzzing like, "Nah, this guy is mad." I was just scoring goals for fun. So 5 goals in 6 games. They were like, "Yeah, this guy is gonna help us." So we started the season. First goal, I scored. First game I scored, and then I scored again. Well, first 5 games, I scored. I think it was 6 goals in the first 5 games. Yeah. So that was 10 goals in maybe 12. Was it 12 games? Like, yeah, if I have to count the preseason games. So it was, that atmosphere, that confidence, and most importantly, God, that we're acting. Because as I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you how I managed to do it. I was just coming to do my thing, like working hard, being focused, doing things well. And then I don't know if strikers will sometimes be able to tell you how they score, how they manage to make some goals. For me, it was just I'll just leave it to God. I'll just leave it to God, yeah.
And in that sort of first couple of months with Wrexham, you had some great celebrations, including in the floss. Do you plan
Yeah.
your celebrations?
No, but I'll tell you what, because the fans were, I mean, not were, because Wrexham fans, everyone knows them. Wrexham fans are crazy, like they're one of the best fans in this division. I mean, so far in the clubs I've played with, the Wrexham fans, the atmosphere they give is, I mean, I had never seen it before, because when you see the clubs I played with, for me, it was something new to come and play in that, what was it, 5-6, in front of 5-6K people. So I kept receiving messages of Instagram because they saw what I was doing during pre-season. So before the season started, excuse me, before the season started, I was receiving messages from fans like, Mike, would you do this celebration the next time you score? Today one will come, okay, Mike, next time you score, please do the floss, please. I was like, what's the floss? I didn't even know what the floss is. So they told me, like, it's in this game. This game, what game is that? So I went up to look. I was like, okay, we'll see. I'll try. I'll practice it, and then I'll do it. The next time, there's another one that came. Oh man, you did the flow the other time. We loved it. Can you do the L dance? I was like, what's that? So yeah, that's how it came. So it wasn't my own inspiration. No, I would say it was mainly to fans, because when I was doing it, they knew that I was doing it for them. So that made me to get closer with the Wrexham fans, and it was lovely. So yeah, most of the celebration were coming from fans. Honestly, I didn't know the flows before. I didn't know the L dance before. Before that.
And then going back to Wrexham season, Ricketts left in December. Obviously, he got offered a deal in a League One, I think it was at the time. Was it difficult to lose such a good manager at that time?
Very, 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 very difficult, because obviously he don't want to sign me. So some counted on me, because since day one, I remember when I signed, he told me he wants me to be the main striker, and I told him I want to wear that number 9 shirt. He asked me again, "Are you sure?" Because that comes with a big responsibility. I said, "Yeah, I love it. I love." So he loved that confidence from me. That's how I got the number 9 shirt. But then, yeah, as the season went on, he's a manager that will talk to you. He will speak to you. He always wants to improve his players. He's not one manager that will just let you know. He always spoke to the players, even in the coaches on the way to away games. Because players are usually sat behind and managers in front. So he leads you to come, behind, sit with you, chat with you, how's the family. So that he loved that close relationship with players, and we were not too close, but we were close. We were close because I always, I give so much respect to my managers when I go. So I'm always like, yeah, if I maybe go get close to them, I can maybe say things that could be disrespectful, because I believe that we're like friends. So I'd rather give them that respect as managers. I'll be close, but not too close, and with Sam, it was a bit more than that. So when we heard the news about him being involved with a League One club, we're a bit skeptic, and he reassured us. Obviously he wasn't too sure, but then yeah, when the time came when he had to leave, yeah, it was difficult, because the thing is with football, you never know when a new manager comes. We've seen it everywhere. New managers usually tend to come with some of their players, so and they absolutely change the dynamic. And I believe at the time we were in a good run with Sam. We're doing very well. Like you see us, you see that team. It was a crazy team. Like you've managers, you've got players and teams that did not want to play against us. We were very, very, the first half of the season were very dangerous, very. So if it was only to me, I would have loved Sam to stay till the end of the season. It could have been a different season, I'm sure.
And obviously, Sam left, and after Sam left, you weren't getting as much game time. As you say, you were still working really, really hard. I remember seeing pictures of you in the park, smashing, trying to score goals and stuff, but it didn't work out. You weren't getting as much game time. You went on loan to Maidenhead, where you done well there. What did you learn from that loan?
Again, the experience I went I went through in Wrexham made me think about what I went through when I was in Guiseley. So because I went through that situation in Guiseley, I knew how to, how to go through it in Wrexham because it wasn't too new for me to change managers and, a new manager coming with a different plan with, with a different plan. So yeah, I still wanted to score goals. I was still working hard. I know I'm sure I know some people that would confirm it, but then I would just say it's just a manager's thing. Like there are some players that will see that you will see are talented, but managers don't give them a chance. So it's sometimes I think it's just about managers' preference. What maybe the interim manager that came, according to his game plan, I wasn't fitting in his game plan. Maybe that's why he did not play me. He's got his reasons that I don't know. I wouldn't know. But one thing is for sure, I was doing everything to get back in that team. Even players were seeing that during in training as well. And I still wanted to stay. I wanted to stay, and I agreed. It was because there was this game, this FA Cup game we were gonna. I don't know if it was the FA Cup or the FFAs. We were playing against the team. I think it was Boston, and I spoke to the manager, and yeah, he told me that go do your thing, go and do your thing in that game, and just show me what you're capable of, and then you will, we can't wait to have you back. I went in there, I scored a goal, won 3-0. I think I was man of the match, but after that game, I came and spoke to him again, and it was a different story. And I told him, listen, I proved, like I just scored a goal. I did very well. I was man of the match, and I want to get back into the team. But yeah, from this football thing, when a manager has made his mind, there's not much you can do. You just have to keep working hard and be patient. But I got to that point where I wasn't playing, I wasn't seen. So I am patient, but at the same time, I want things to happen. So I decided to go on loan to prove my worth. That's when I think they made, yeah, that's when the interim manager, I think, was sacked, and then they made someone else to come. But then when the new manager came, had already agreed to go to Maidenhead, so there was nothing much to. No, I had not yet agreed, but I was willing to go. I was willing to go, and he didn't do much to make me stay. So I went to Maidenhead, and yeah, another good experience. Another good experience. I met new people, good people. The manager here was very lovely guy. Like, yeah, like he will give you all the confidence in the world. Yeah, he made me play. I had a good spell at Maidenhead. It was a good experience as well. Not not the necessary result or not the expected result at the end, but it was still a learning curve, and I learned a lot from it. I did well. Maybe some would say I didn't do as well as I should have, but yeah, fans were starting to love me. I had some good games there, and because of the situation I had in the past, I was able to deal with that positively. And the
Mm,
manager just to close down on this. The manager of Wrexham, because we were coming to the end of the season with Maidenhead, and he called me back because he said he wanted me for the playoffs. So yeah, it was good. It was a good motivation. So I finished the season Maidenhead. Next day, straight to Wrexham, and I wanted to play in the playoffs, but yeah, I didn't really have that chance.
mm. And then you left Wrexham that year. Obviously, it was disappointing for you. And then you signed for, another big club in Chesterfield, who, at the start of the season they were tipped to be one of the favourites to go up. Was that what John Sheridan, the manager at the time, was that his ambitions for the club?
Yeah, as you probably have seen, I was on a 2 years contract at Wrexham, so I still had 1 year left before the end of the season. I still had 1 year left when I left the club. So, when I came back from holidays, initially the manager said, yeah, I was in his plan, but then after that, it was a different story. So I thought it was best for me to move. So we just had to agree on, you know, on what, the terms for me to leave. And, thankfully we came to an agreement. And the day that the news was published, that same day that the news was published, that I it was by mutual agreement that I left Wrexham. There were 4 or 5 clubs that contacted my agent straight away. So that same day, that's why you probably see I left Wrexham on I think on a Friday, and I signed for Chesterfield on a Saturday.
Mm.
Yeah, so um yeah, Chesterfield indeed was at the time they were among those that were tipped to move, to be they are among the favorite to win or to be promoted in the AFL. So when obviously everyone knows John Sheridan, a legend in Sheffield. So when I spoke to him after signing for Chesterfield that same day, it was a good conversation with him, my agent, with Snod, assistant, and the other staff members. So he didn't speak he didn't speak too much. All he told me, just go and score goals. And I loved it. Like, he's not gonna mess with you. He's not gonna give you too much information. You know, all he wants for me as a striker, I might just go score goals. So in training, in other clubs, sometimes I could come back in the middle or probably go to the wing just to express myself. But Sheridan would just say, Mike, just stay there, stay up front, stay. And you've probably seen I started again. The first game, scored 2 goals, and I went on to scoring. So far, this is my best. I would say my best season so far in English football. And I would say, yes, Sheridan was very helpful in that, very very helpful, because he understood what I wanted. He knew how to play me. I was not the only one saying that. He knew how to play with strikers. Obviously, during training, he'll give you information, but then more importantly for strikers, just stay in there, because that's where you're going to score goals. Between 80 and 90% of goals are scored in the box. So, Mike, whoever is playing up front, just stay there.
And Chesterfield have struggled this season and been in a relegation fight, not really sort of getting out until Pemberton came in sort of January time. Was it frustrating not to be obviously in those playoffs so higher up like Chesterfield were tipped to at the start of the season?
Yeah, because everyone knows how big a club Chesterfield is, and we had very experienced and good players in Chesterfield. So indeed, coming to the end of the season, or I mean, when the season was halfway through, when we saw our position at the table, we were not happy. We were not happy because we knew we could have done, we should have done better. But then, I mean, like, players want to do well, managers want to do well. By the end of the day, the decision does not come. It's not towards his God. He's got the last word. So we players were working hard. Managers were working hard to give the best tactics to defy other teams. We were doing everything we could, but for some reason, there were some mistakes we kept doing during some games. Sometimes we didn't really feel like we were at it. So yeah, very disappointing indeed. Very disappointing. But for me, again, it's another learning curve. It's another learning curve. With another learning path.
How hard is it to have been able to compete with Chesterfield? Have got some really good attacking players, obviously Tom Denton, Scott Bowden, Nathan Tyson, Fortuna, who's had a great career. How hard is it to compete with those really good attacking players at Chesterfield?
Yeah, obviously there is that unintentional spirit of competition in every player. But for me, I was just going there to do my business. Like, if you get a chance, just go and give everything you've got. So if today Scott has got a chance, then he's got a chance, they'll go do their thing. If I've got a chance, I'll just go and do my thing. But when we're playing together, for me, was so most of the time I was not thinking of it as being a competition. I was mostly thinking of it as, being in a team that at this point in time we need to be in a better place because we're fighting relegation. So, competition is health when it's healthy, competition is good. But then I was trying to have that spirit of togetherness because competition sometimes can make you do funny things. So I'll just to answer to that, I'll just say I'll just minding my business. So I'll just do my thing. I'll just work hard in training, before and after training, and then in games I'll do what I can do, and then things that I cannot get control of, I'll just let them to God. There was nothing I could have done. So I was just taking things the way they were coming.
Mm. And as a striker, obviously you've scored quite a few goals. What would you say is your best goal you've scored?
My best goal I've scored.
Mm.
Hmm. Um. I would say the best will probably be the most important so far. That was the goal that took Accrington Stanley out of the FA Cup when I was in Guiseley. I kicked the last penalty because we went on to penalty shootout, and I was the one on the last penalty. After scoring it, it was mad. It was a mad feeling. I couldn't sleep for 1.5 days, or was it almost 2 days? So just because of the history we had made, and to have taken Accrington Stanley out of the FA Cup, it was crazy. But then, yeah, later on I went on to score important goals, but that one specifically, yeah, it was very like that feeling. I can't really explain it.
Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with obviously coronavirus. Now it's going to affect football. But you've stayed at the National League for quite a couple of years now. You got the plans to obviously get into the Football League, or obviously Chesterfield want to keep hold of you, but have you obviously got plans in the next couple of years to get into the Football League, like you said earlier, you've had offers to go there before?
Yeah, 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 100%. I want to play. I want to play in the football league. I've got so much plans. I want to be. I want to make good things, mad things as well. So, but now that decision is up to God. All I can do is focus on what my human forces enable me to do. That's working hard, making sure I'm doing the right thing at the right time, you know. But now the other decision, because I've already given my plans to God. Now He's the one that's got the last say. This season is done now. Yeah, obviously with the COVID situation going on, I'll be speaking with my agent to see if there's anything. But as I said, I'm trying not to think too much until something happens, because it's not up to me to decide. As I said, yeah, God knows I want to play in the league. Now He's the one that's gonna act. So I'm just putting my trust in Him, and I'm focusing on just doing what I have to do.
Do you want to go for your best 11, the players you played with?
Oh, my best 11 players. That that's quite a tough one, to be fair. I would say in the goal, Rob Layton from Wrexham. Yeah, Rob Layton from Wrexham.
Yeah.
Right back, Ibrahima Diallo. I think he was a chestnut. He's a chestnut now, but we played at Billericay together. Ibrahima Diallo, yeah, very very good, very good. Um, then centre backs, I'll put Manny Smith and Sean Pearson. That was the duo at Wrexham. Those two were absolutely, like, you won't be able to pass them. You won't. So yeah, and left back, I will go for what was I was gonna go for left back? I'll put Duckworth. No, no, no. I'll put Buchanan of Chesterfield. Yeah, he's that guy's got lungs. Like, he can run for days without getting tired. So I'll put Books. So that's the four behind. Now, if I have to play in the 4-4-2 position, the right wing, I'll put Kozilo. We were at Halifax together. Now midfield, I'll put Mike Collins. I don't know if you know about Michael Collins. Well, Halifax did, and then he went on to be Bradford manager.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Collins. I'll put him in midfield with Harold from Dagenham. I forgot. I don't know what his family name is, but his name is Harold. We were at Maidenhead together. H. He's a bit like Kante. He's very naughty. In the midfield, he's someone you don't want to play against. He's everywhere. Yeah, I'll put him in the midfield. And then left wing, I'll put Pike, Ricule Pike. Played at Wrexham together, and then he went to, yeah, I think he's in Link One now. Pikey, yeah.
Yeah.
And then two up front, I'll go for Effiong. You know Effiong, right?
Yeah, he plays.
Yeah.
That's for I'll go for Effiong and Scott Bowden up front. Effiong will be like the target man, and Scott, and Scott will be the one running in behind. Yeah.
If you had to choose one manager to manage that team, best manager you've had, who would you have managing that team?
Wow. Best manager, the manager to manage that team. I'll possibly go for I'll go for Sheridan. I'll go for John Sheridan. Yeah, I'll go for John Sheridan, and his assistant will be Angelo Harrop, the one that managed me at Stanway.
Final question before you go. What's the best moment in your football career so far?
Best moment in my football career so far was But is it like in a game moment, in a game situation?
Or just whenever. It doesn't have to be a game or at the moment signing for a club or just whenever really. Just in football in memory really.
Well, first of all, the penalty like I scored against Accrington, and then secondly signing for Wrexham, and that pre-season spell. It's just amazing because we went to Portugal for pre-season. I scored a goal against the Portuguese team we played there, and then before I knew it, there was some fans singing my name in a pub. I received the video, and that had never happened to me, so I felt so emotional. So for me, that up till today, I still keep that video now. It's something I watch it if I'm going through like a difficult period. I watch that video, and it always puts a smile on my face.
Obviously, thanks for your time, Mike. If you stay with Chesterfield, all the best with Chesterfield, or if you get to the Football League, all the best in the Football League. Stay safe during lockdown, and all the best and thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine. Pleasure was mine. Anytime, and I hope you too. You stay safe, and I hope your families are all healthy and safe during this period as well.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers.